Jagardev, Jai Masters. The essence of spirituality and a spiritual life is a fact, not a belief, that there's something really, really beautiful inside of you. A beautiful, beautiful upward flow of energy. Call it Shakti, call it spirit, call it Chi, Prana, whatever. They're all different names for the same energy flow. The problem is we don't always feel it. When Christ said, "Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that leaveth the mouth of the Father," that's what he's talking about. Yes, you can get energy from outside. That's where almost everybody's trying to get their energy. There's a flow of energy inside that feeds you all the time. It can feed you all the time. Anything that you think you're doing spiritually that does not deal with the energy flow is just mind. Coming in harmony with that flow is the beginning and end of the meaning of life. That's what it is. How do you know? If that flow is not experienced inside of you, you're very busy trying to get something to compensate for that outside. What do you mean? I don't feel whole. I feel I need something. I feel lonely. I feel depressed. I feel scared. That's all a lack of energy. The other end is, I feel ecstasy. I feel joy welling up inside of me all the time. The rush of holy waters. It's so funny that the Bible, the Gita, everything tries to talk about it. But are you willing to realize that's the meaning of life? Is to have a experience of total well-being flowing inside of you. People say, but then why would I get up in the morning? Because you want to express that energy. It's a totally different life, a spiritual life, versus I don't like the word worldly, but a non-spiritual life. A non-spiritual life is saying, I don't feel the Spirit. In fact, I don't even know there is such a thing. I don't feel that flowing inside of me. Therefore, if you love me, I feel better. If I make money, I feel better. If people clap, I feel better. If I feel accepted, I feel better. If I look the way I want to look, I feel better. There are things that can happen outside that make me feel better. But, the things that can happen outside make me feel worse. I don't know about you, but I think we know something about those. All right? So that's what they mean by worldly. But I don't like worldly because it takes a negative connotation. But literally what it means is I'm living based on what's happening in the world. If something happens outside that makes me feel better, I want it. It's a normal, natural thing. Of course I want it. It made me feel better. If something happens outside that makes me feel worse, I don't want it. And that's your life. I just defined somebody's entire life. Seriously, that's it. It's limited to I need moments unfolding in front of me that make me feel better. I need to not have moments unfolding in front of me that make me feel worse. Okay, now what do? Decide what moments will make you feel better and decide what moments will make you feel worse. How do you decide that? Based on your past experiences. If you had a nice experience with the color blue, you like blue. If when you first met your girl or guy and it was love at first sight, they were wearing blue, that's your color. Have I ever had That's Our Song? Okay. What about that song when you're divorced? I can't stand that song. You see what I'm saying? It's your past experiences program you, certainly naturally, program you to say, this made me feel better, this made me feel worse. Therefore, if I decide what I want, it's that which has made me feel better, that which made me feel worse. Okay. So there's your first step. You have the experience, and you try to think in terms of desires and fears. That's what your desires and fears are. I want that which will make me feel better to happen. Well, how would you know? Because it happened before. I've had that experience before. All right? I don't want that which made me feel worse to happen. How do you know? I've had the experience before. So what do? Your next step is to say, okay, that's what I want. That's what I don't want. How do I get it? And how do I avoid it? Well, I use my mind. I'm not stupid. I have a mind, right? It knows what it experienced, and it knows what kind of things might make it happen again, right? I told you I had a friend, I don't like to tell on him, but it's long gone, I'm old, that told me once he's going to move up to Massachusetts, to the Boston area up there. And I knew he had come from up north, and he didn't like the snow. He didn't like all that, right? And he had a job. He had a job in Florida, and he really liked his job and everything like that. I said, well, why are you moving? He said, well, up in that area, there's Harvard and whatever the schools are, all right? And I like an intellectual woman, and I think if I move up there, I have a better chance to meet somebody who is my type of woman, right? Now, that sounds very logical to you. It's exactly what I just said to you. What made me feel good? That's what I want. How do I get it? Your mind figured that out. So you use your mind, which is totally logical, or the web. You use something to give direction and purpose to how you will fulfill your desires and how you will avoid your fears. Now we're building this whole system inside. That's what worldly means. Again, I don't like it in terms of the way other people use it. It just means, I guarantee you what your mind is going to say with, this is what I want, how do I get it? It's outside. Until you're really, really deep, will your actual mind say, I really want to feel good. Okay, meditate. Understand that? It's going to say it's outside. Find somebody. Get a job that you like better. Get inspired. Lose some weight. It's outside. The answer is outside. Get popular. Get your name in lights. That'll actually do it. Win that $1.6 billion lottery. That'll do it. So your whole notion is that it's outside. They teach you that. Find something outside that makes you passionate. Find someone that you trust and feel good about and turns you on and you feel love. Outside, outside, outside. It's always outside. Why? Because that's the experience you've had. Your whole society, everything tells you it is outside. Every time you turn on the TV, every advertisement, every single thing, anybody ever, oh, I met somebody. I wasn't happy till I met somebody. Oh my God, I'm so happy now. I got the perfect job. I can't wait to go to work. You hear me? Everything is that. In other words, I'm not okay. We'll discuss that in a minute. What do you mean I'm not okay? If you need something, you're not okay. Let's have an honest talk. What does need mean? I'm lacking. They teach you needs are natural. Needs are not natural. Food, basic biological needs, fine. Food, clothing, shelter. I'll give it to you. Food, clothing, shelter. Fine. We got that? All right. If you need anything, it's because you are lacking. When you're whole and full, there are no needs, are there? I just ate. What do you want to eat? Nothing. Don't you need anything? No. I just met somebody. Oh my God, they're the most perfect person in the whole life, everything. Would you like to meet somebody else? No. When there's fulfillment, there's no need. Therefore, need is a lack of fulfillment. They teach you needs are natural. They tell you to find your needs and go get them. Yoga does not teach you that. Yoga says if you need something, there's something wrong with you. By definition. What's wrong with you? I don't have what I need to be okay. How do we call needs that way? Yoga don't know what's said. Desire, my great enemy. But that's not how we look at it, is it? Why? Because if you have a desire, why do you have a desire? Because you need something. What is a desire? A need. Is it not? Let's not make it romantic. Okay? A desire means I'm not okay, and I desire that which my mind decided would make me be okay. Can I say that? Is it fair enough? Anyone want to argue with that? Okay. So desire is not holy. Needs are not holy. Someone once said, your desire is God guiding you to do what he wants you to do. It is not. In the deepest spiritual sense, a desire is God lost inside your psyche, therefore blocking the Shakti flow that is natural to the feeling and trying to compensate it by looking for something outside. That's what a desire is. Remember, this whole thing started with there is a flow of energy inside of you, but you're not feeling it. Therefore, you try to compensate for it, and what your needs are is I need to feel energy. I need to feel love. I need to feel important. I need to feel accepted. I need. Why? Because I don't feel energy. I don't feel accepted. I don't feel love. I don't want to harbor on it, but I'm the only one who will say it. Needs are not natural. Needs are an indication that something is wrong. Therefore, you need something to try to compensate for it. Fair enough? Okay. And what is a desire? Another word for a strong need. I have this deep desire. It's driving me crazy. I desire this. I told you the other day, I like this. You all have bucket lists. I hope you don't. What is a bucket list? Really? They make it romantic, don't they? There's movies about them. There's your bucket list, right? What is your bucket list? I've lived my entire life, and it didn't work. Here's a list of things that I think would. If they would happen before I die, I'll be okay. Why was it okay your whole life? I don't understand. You tried your whole life to find things, didn't you? You tried your whole life to find things, to do things, but now you got this list that says it didn't work. That's what your bucket list means. The rest didn't work. I still got this on my list. Maybe that will work. It won't. So you wake up and you realize the root of all of this is that you're not okay inside. You don't feel okay inside. Therefore, you try to see what made you feel better. I'm repeating that to you. You try to see what made you feel better. You don't have to try it. You learned it. It's a natural thing. You had experiences. Oh, it's stupid. It made me feel better. Of course it did. It made me feel worse. That's right. Do you want it to happen again? When made you feel better? Yes. Do you want it to happen again when made you feel worse? No. Now you have a preference. I prefer that which made me feel better. I prefer not to have what made me feel worse. Okay, that's one step. Now you're in trouble, right? Because you're not okay, and you've come up with this preference system inside your mind. That's the first thing your mind does. And the second thing your mind has to do, and you can't make it stop, unless you're really, really deep. And listen to me, all right? You can. It can stop, right? But you have to work on it. The next thing your mind does totally naturally is to say, okay, I'm not just going to sit here, wait for what I want to happen and hope that nothing happens that I don't want. I got to get busy. I got a chore, don't I? I need to figure out how to get what will make me feel better and how to avoid what will make me feel worse. Does your mind ever think about that? Does your mind ever think about what you want and how to get it? Does it ever not think about it? No. All right? That's why there is noise in your mind. That's why the mind is talking. I'm not in favor of stopping the mind. I'm not. I'm in favor of having compassion for what you told your mind to do. You said, oh mind, there's a world out there that's really, really big and it has lots of forces that make things be the way they are. I don't care. You figure out how I get the moment in front of me to be the way I want. Come on, get to work. Think about it. Think about it. Think about all the possibilities, all the concepts, the views, opinions, preferences, things, different people, probabilities. Go on, figure it all out. And also figure out how I don't have to experience what I don't want. Get to work, mind. And it says, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. I will do it day and night. Don't bother sleeping. Have I told the truth? Is that not what it's doing? So it's sitting there doing that. Okay, fine. It's not comfortable to have that. Desires are not comfortable. Desires are uncomfortable. That's why you have to do something about them. How would you like to meet somebody, fall deeply in love, just the finest love you've ever had, and not see them again? I think you will desire to see them again. Does that desire feel good? No, it's painful. I need the fulfillment of a desire feels good. But if you have a desire that's not fulfilled, it's the same as a problem, isn't it? Wake up. So that's what's driving you. That's what drives a human being, this little system I just built inside of you. Past experiences, I'm not doing well, I can do better if they happen again, or something like them happen again. Figure out how to make it happen. Move, this, job, dress, every single thing. How do you wear your hair? Every single thing. Okay? Ever been to a hairstylist, and when they took the stuff off, you looked at it and said, oh, not exactly. He took a 1/4 inch more than what I was thinking. Why do you care what your hair looks like? Why do you care what your hair looks like? And the answer is, because I'm not okay. And I think that how my hair looks will make people be attracted to me or repulsed from me. And I really like attraction better than repulsion, rejection. Therefore, my hair needs to be a certain way. And it better not be frizzy, because I'm not going out there in humidity. I'm moving to Arizona because I don't like frizzy hair. Let's extrapolate that to a lot of things. It's all because you're not okay. And therefore, you're projecting getting what you think will make you be okay onto the outside world. So now we have to figure out what we want. And that's not always so easy. Wait, what are decisions? Ever have trouble with decisions? Why? Because you think it will make the difference as to whether in the future you're okay or not. If you couldn't care, here's a food that you love and here's another food that you absolutely love. Which one do you want? Who cares? Here's a food that makes you sick and the other one makes you even sicker. Which one do you want? Get away from me. They're not decisions. They're known things. You're fine. But if you're not okay and you're trying to decide whether to take the job in New York or keep the job you have here, that one's more money, but it costs more to live up there, and a thing, and I maybe I'll meet somebody, but I got somebody here. I don't know, right? Why is it so hard? Because you think it's going to determine whether you're okay or not. You're playing that game still. I'm not whole. I'm not complete. New York might do it, or it might really freak me out. And therefore, it's a very difficult decision. How do you make the decision? You go to the very mind that's causing the problem. And you say, oh, mind, I know you're screwed up. What should I do? Don't you? And you let the mind go, no. No. But what? Oh. You jump back and forth. Very early in my growth, very early, back in the early 70s, I noticed that that's going on in there. And you know what I said to my mind? All right? You're relieved of your duty. It is not your job. And I actually skipped a step. It was a true step. I said, oh, mind, quiet, shh, mind. Do you know the answer? I said, no. Obviously, if I knew the answer, I wouldn't be thinking about it, would I? Right? Yeah, well, okay. All right, so now you've admitted you don't know. You just went to an investment advisor with your money, and you said, do you know how to invest it? No. No, I don't know. I don't know how to, but I can try and figure it out. Excuse me, I think I'll go somewhere else. That's what your mind's doing. It says, I don't know. I don't. Right, when you make a decision, I don't know, but I'll think about it. Wow. That works out real good, doesn't it? Okay? So basically, you're going to the mind. It's trying to figure it out. It can't. And it's just, this is the problem with humanity. This is the problem. And so you go outside, you try to make it happen, you try to make it not happen. If it happens, you get excited. If it starts to, what you don't want to happen, you get scared to death. And you're living in there freaked out. You're living in there with hopes and dreams and fears. And what are hopes and dreams? Are they spiritual? Hopes and dreams not spiritual. They're a clear indication that you're not okay. Spiritual is that you are okay. Spirit, I'm going to come back to the energy flow. All right? When you're in that spirit flow, there's no hopes or dreams. You're already experiencing what you want. What is a hope? I hope someday it'll be the way I want. I hope someday it'll be the way I want. There we are. Same game. Well, what's a dream? I dream that someday the whole world will be the way I want it to be. Someday lions will lay down with lambs without eating them. Don't wait up. And so you just realize, what have I done? I'm completely caught in this system that I'm not okay, and that I'm going outside to try to be okay. But I'm not okay inside. Why am I going outside to constantly fight and compensate? And that's what you're trying to compensate for the fact that you're not okay inside with the outside. Fair enough? Does it work? A little bit. Of course it does a little bit. Once in a while you get something that you hope, it seems like it'll do it for you, right? Does it always do it for you when it starts to look like it's going to do it for you? When was the last time you wanted something and you got it and you never wanted anything else? When was the last time anybody wanted something and they got it and never wanted anything else? Never. Never. Why? Because compensation does not work. There's a story I always tell. You have a stomach ache because you're eating terribly, but you get a stomach ache, so you keep a lot of Pepto-Bismol around the house because you get stomach aches, all right? Well, what if you can't find the Pepto-Bismol? You run around the whole house trying to find the Pepto-Bismol. A friend comes in and says, what's wrong? I can't find the Pepto-Bismol. That's not what's wrong. What's wrong is you have a stomach ache because you ate wrong. The Pepto-Bismol compensates for that. You didn't deal with the problem. It's the same thing outside. Compensation does not work. It looks like it'll work. It works temporarily. You feel a little bit better, but you didn't solve the problem. You didn't even deal with the problem. You literally define the problem as I can't find the compensating thing. I can't find the person that will love me the way I want to be loved. I can't find the job that will turn me on. I can't find the car that's exactly what I want. I can't find this. I can't find that. In other words, I haven't even dealt with the fact that I'm not okay. I'm only dealing with the fact that I can't find the compensation or avoid that which makes it worse. Please, do you understand that? That's what it means to wake up. To realize that, my God, I'm wasting my entire life trying to manipulate and control the moments unfolding in front of me so that I feel better, instead of finding out why I don't feel good. If I love you and you say you love me, then you leave me, how am I doing? Terrible. Why? If I run out of Pepto-Bismol, I'm doing terrible. That's why you get in relationships, they work. And then if anything goes wrong, your heart breaks, everything. You were living off the energy from outside to compensate for that. You're taking certain pills or doing certain drugs that make you feel a little bit better. Now you can't get them anymore. How you doing? You're doing natural. You're doing what's made you do the drug. Something's driving you out to do something or avoid something because you're not okay. Now, let's go. We've spent enough time outside. Is there an answer? Yes. There's an answer. Find out why you're not okay inside, and don't tell me I'm not okay because I don't have what I want. And that's what the mind will tell you. Every single time it will tell you, of course you're not okay. You need a better job. You need to make more money. You need to travel. You need a vacation, for God's sakes. Come on, you work too hard. You need a vacation. I need it. That's why you're not okay. Because I need. No. Why do you need? Now you're getting spiritual. Now all of a sudden you've come inside. Why do I feel the need? Not the need is there because I didn't find what I want. So what does that mean? What do? You wake up and you start to be wise. You wise. Rumi once said, it's a saying, I love it. He said, yesterday I was clever, so I was trying to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm trying to change myself. That's what it means, outside, inside. You're not renouncing. I don't like the word renunciation. You're not renouncing. If something doesn't work, you're not renouncing it. You just got wise. You woke up. This isn't working. To have spent my entire life trying to get what I think I want to compensate for what's wrong inside of me. All right. So how does one work inside? First, you just get quiet for a minute. Just get quiet for a minute and watch. Those are the deepest teachings, witness consciousness. Can you watch what's going on inside of you? A lot of people can't. It's too freaky. Watch your mind. No, my mind's crazy. You don't know your mind's crazy until you watch. And you realize, that thing's crazy. That thing's nuts. Watch, once you can get comfortable, relatively comfortable watching your mind, be crazy. Where do you watch your heart? Somebody once said, the root of the mind is in the heart. Listen to me. The root of the mind is in the heart. Because the heart feels fear, because the heart is insecure, because the heart has these problems, the mind inherits them and tries to solve them, doesn't it? And therefore the world inherits them. With everybody running around like chickens with their heads cut off, invading everybody, endorsing everybody, and yelling at everybody, and lying and cheating and stealing, and doing every single thing they can do outside because they're a mess inside. So you come inside and you notice those two things. That's what I would like you to do. Just don't do anything. Just notice. Notice what the mind is doing. Notice what the heart is doing. But it hurts. Of course it does. That's why you've been so busy outside. Because the heart hurts. It's afraid. It feels need, doesn't it? So it drives you outside. Spirituality is when you stop for a minute and say, this is a non-starter. I can't follow a heart that's a mess. I can't follow someone who's totally screwed up and scared and insecure and has problems from the past that they can't live with what happened and so on. What am I listening to that for? That should be the last thing in the world I listen to. It's just going to go run all over the place and cause a lot of trouble outside. So there's spirituality. There's a start when you step on the spiritual path, when you're willing to look at your mind, not stop it, not yell at it, not hate it, not suppress it. No, that doesn't work. Just be aware. This thing's got a problem. Not I have a problem. This thing has a problem. You're going to realize you are the consciousness noticing that your mind is neurotic. There's nothing wrong with that. I want you to see that. If you think your mind is totally healthy and it's happy all the time, there's nothing wrong with it, you're full of it. Because that's not the way the mind is. The ego mind, the personal mind, is full of all these issues and trying to solve them all the time, one thing after another, isn't it? You have in computers, we talk about stack. You push things out of the stack and they pop off. Those of you who know programming, all right? The mind is full of that. You've pushed all these issues one after the other, right? Then they pop back down. Okay, took care of this. Boom, there's the next one. There's the next one, right? You know, you walk around knowing there's a bunch of stuff that needs to be done, don't you? There's not enough time to do it all. To do what? Not enough time to do what? The planet's been here for 4.5 billion years, and you're worried about 5 minutes. But what you think is, you've built this whole system, I'm not okay, this is what needs to happen for me to be okay. I don't have time to make it happen. I'm busy making that happen, and the other thing's not happening. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm driving... You did that. You're sitting on a planet spinning around a star. There's no time. But I'm so tense. You did it. How? Because of what I've told you so far. You're not okay. You decided what needs to happen for you to be okay, or not happen for you not to be okay, right? And then you decide what outside has to happen for that to happen. Now I have to make that happen. How do I make that happen? And how do I make all the other things that I wasn't dealing with while I'm dealing with that one? Hey, you know what it feels like? There's not enough time, is there? Oh my God, I'm going crazy. It's so tense. It's about what? Someday you will wake up, you're sitting on a planet, a tiny little planet. I told you, 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun. You're standing on one spot on a planet, freaking yourself out. And you mean it. And you just run around. And so you wake up and you realize, wow, I have made a mess out of this thing. And I think by running faster and earning more money and finding a relationship and getting people to like me and always being respected and never feeling rejected, that I'm going to win. you're not going to win anything. You lost. Your life is a mess. I don't care that you're holding it together. But I've got this and the kids with that, but if they get sick, I'm freaked out. Have a child and worry about every single thing that could ever happen to them. Well, what if they grow up and somebody rejects them? What if they go to school and people don't like them? I'm not going to send them to school. Go on, do that about everything. You do, don't you? And you wonder why everything's a mess. It's a mess because you haven't caught on what's going on. Okay? Well, what do I do about it? First, watch. First, dare to notice instead of keep running after everything, away from and toward everything. Running as fast as you can. All right? That's not spiritual. I'll make sure you understand. Am I saying you go move out to the woods like I did? Move out to the woods and leave everything? No, of course not. There is a life to be lived, but not the one you live in. Not the one that's filled with needs and desires and fears and anxieties, and then running as fast as you can to try and fulfill the desires and avoid the fears, to get what you want and avoid what you don't want. That's a non-starter. So there's a much deeper life. But first you have to be willing to watch the mind and watch the personal mind and the personal heart. And I just defined what personal is. I'm not okay. Everything I think about is me. And don't get embarrassed. Freud said there was an ego. Yes, there is an ego. What's the ego about? Me. I, me, mine. There's no ego that's not about I, me, mine. It's not like you have a nice one. I once wrote a long time ago in the 70s, there's no such thing as a good personality. They're just people projecting out what they think you want and trying to behave in a way and talk in a way and dress in a way that they get accepted. So there's something deeper inside. So you look at it and you watch it, and I'm just giving you a warning, skull and crossbones. If you sit there and watch your mind and heart, you're going to freak out. You're going to write and say, I used to be better. No, you didn't used to be better. You didn't used to be better. You just weren't paying attention. Just run as fast. The hamster on the wheel? Ever seen the hamster on the wheel? Did you ever get anywhere? Did you ever get anywhere? I'll run faster. Does he get anywhere? I'll run slower. Get anywhere? I'll try this. I'll try that. That's what's going on. Okay? I'm running as fast as I can to get away from myself. To get away from the fact that I'm not okay. And I'm trying to solve that by running. All right? So you watch. You start by watching. It's called witness consciousness. What do you mean? Everybody is in a state of witness consciousness. They just aren't willing to look at it that way, right? Do you have thoughts? Do any of you have thoughts? How do you know? How do you know that you have thoughts? That's the deepest spiritual question that possibly exists. Well, because I'm in here and I see them. Thank you. Namaste. Who's in there noticing that there are thoughts? Does your heart ever hurt? Has anybody know what it means if I say heartache? How do you know? How do you know your heart hurts? How do you know? I feel it. Who does? Was it the same you that's aware that the heart hurts as the one that was aware that the heart was filled with love and blossoming, and right? Same you who goes deep into meditation and comes back and says, oh my God, my mind stopped. It's the first time there wasn't a single thought. How do you know? How do you know? You're in there. That's witness consciousness. Don't think witness consciousness is there are no thoughts and now I've reached that state. Witness consciousness is I'm witnessing that there are thoughts. And you are. Otherwise you wouldn't know they were there. The trouble is they're so distracting. You're so committed to the mess we just talked about that you don't pay attention to you in there noticing the thought. You're just busy being in the thought. You're busy doing what it says to do. I don't like it here. I'm going to leave. I want to leave. And you leave. Oh. Something said that, didn't it? Something in your mind said those things. Witness consciousness means you're capable of being in there, watching the mind do that, and being okay. Now we're seated. That's being seated in witness consciousness. I'm in here. My mind is driving me crazy. And I'm still in here, baby. I'm in here noticing that my mind is driving me crazy. Am I crazy? No, but that which I'm watching is. I'm in here noticing that my heart feels like roller skating on razor blades inside my heart. Ever been there? Okay. I am noticing that. I am noticing that. Who is? Me. How do you like it? I don't. But is it happening? Yes. How do you know? Because I'm in here. That's witness consciousness. It's who you are. You're in there noticing what the heart feels. You're in there noticing what the mind is saying. Otherwise, who cares? If I don't notice it, I couldn't care less. But I do notice it. How much do you notice it? It's so strong that I can't sit in a centered seat of awareness while it's going on. What do you mean? I have to do something about it. Oh, God, we're getting deep. Have you heard the difference between doing and being? We're right there. Very Zen. I'm not okay being here while that is going on. Okay, well then what are you going to do? I'm going to do something about it. Right? I can't be, I have to do. Well, what are you going to do about it? I don't know, I'm going to do something. I'll scream and yell and throw things or grab things, or but usually what I'll do is, the mind that's having a problem tells me to do. That's what I'm going to do. That's like having a child that's throwing a tantrum. In the department store, throwing a tantrum, and here's the mother. Ready? Oh, sweetheart, what do you want? What color? Where do you want it? That one? This one? No. Which one do you want? Oh, boy, I don't want to meet your kid. Is that the right way to deal with a kid throwing a tantrum? Right? That's what you do with your mind. Does it throw tantrums? Answer me. What do you do? What do you want? What do you want? Is this the one you want? What can I do? Is this what I should do? Exactly what you shouldn't be doing to that child, you're doing to your mind. Aren't you? And it's spoiled to death. It's used to getting what it wants, or trying anyways. So you can't just be, because you're busy doing. What are you doing? I told you, I built the whole system for you. Now you understand. You're busy doing what the mind tells you to do, which is always going to be outside. I want that one. I want this. I want a different husband. I want a thing. I want to learn to do that. I wish I could play the piano better. I want people to be impressed with me. What can I do to make people impressed with me? That would be wonderful if I could do that. Right? There. So basically, that's why you can't sit in your seat. Your seat is natural. It's already there. I know people that sit there and say, I'm trying to practice witness consciousness. Then you don't have a single idea what you're talking about. It is not something you do. It's something you are. You're already the witness of your thoughts, aren't you? Somebody once asked Yogananda, I'm going to work our way up now. I beat you up enough. All right? Someone asked Yogananda, I want to know God. It's a fully enlightened master, very rare being. I want to know God. He turned around nonchalantly and said, He dwells right behind your every thought. What dwells right behind your every thought? The consciousness that is aware of the thought. Doesn't it? It's always there, being aware of the thought. Well, that's where you're going. That's spirituality. What did Christ say? The kingdom is within you. You who is in there, behind every thought. The kingdom is within you. It's all the same teaching, and it's all true. So basically, how do I learn to sit in here and be centered? It's called being centered, the seat of witness consciousness, established in the self. It's got all kinds of fancy little names. I like established in the self. Why is it the self? Because that's who you are. When you go to sleep, do you dream? Do you wake up? Do you say, I had this dream? How do you know? How do you know you had that dream? You were asleep. I don't understand. I walked in the room. I called your name. You didn't even move. But then you come back. I had this dream. Who did? Is it the same you who watched the dream as the you who looks out through these eyes? You say, I. It's the same person talking. That's the self. That's the Atman. That's the soul. The essence of your being. That which is always there. So it's there in good times and bad. Why? It's the one that knows there are bad times. It's the one that knows there are good times. Right? It's so natural. It's ridiculous. There's nothing you do to return to the self. Stop leaving. I'm sitting here looking at that picture. I'm, 15 feet away, 20 feet away, whatever it is. I'm looking at the picture. But in the meantime, for whatever reason, I got something going with that picture. I really, really like it, or I'm scared to death of it, right? So it has completely transfixed my attention. Okay? I'm fixated on that picture. Did I leave my seat? Did I get up? No. My consciousness projected its attention onto the picture. I didn't leave. What does it mean to return to the seat of self? Stop it. It's not, I'm out there, I'm going to find my way back. Stop leaving. Stop projecting your consciousness onto the object of consciousness, and you will be seated in the seat of consciousness. Those are the deep teachings. I'm going to Nepal to find God. Good luck. Hope you have fun. You're it. You who watch the mind say, I need to go to Kathmandu, which you're welcome to do, by the way, but I need to go to Kathmandu in order to find God, is God. It is the consciousness that is looking at your mind saying that. And what are you doing? Buying a ticket. We all know God lives in the Himalayas, right? Give me a break. The kingdom is within you. You're it. It dwells right behind your every thought, including the one that said, I need to go to the Himalayas, which you're welcome to do. I don't really, when I talk like this, it's just to wake you up. It's not that you don't experience different things, but you see what I'm saying? It's not about finding yourself. You are the self. You are the consciousness that's watching the thoughts, but you can't do it without getting pulled into them. They're very addicting. They're very attractive. They're very powerful. And so you fixate on your thoughts. So much so you think you are the thoughts. You say, this is who I am. It's just who I am. I've been this way my whole life. No, you've watched the mind be that way your whole life. You've watched these tendencies. You are the one who watched. Wait a minute. I forgot to ask you. Were you in there yesterday? Just answer me. Were you in there yesterday? Were you in there a year ago? I could keep going. You've always been in there. When you were 10 years old and you felt embarrassed, were you in there noticing? You have always been in there. So how old are you? You have no age. You have no age. That which you look at has an age, but the one who's looking has no age. This is not so complicated, is it? So you sit in the seat of self, which I've just showed you has been there the whole time. That's who you are. And I showed you why you can't sit there. Because you're distracted, tremendously distracted, like fixated on watching the mind and watching the heart, and therefore you watch the world. Why? Because you associate the world with your mind and your heart. Hope you get it. Now we'll go deeper. So now, how do I learn that the answer is not outside? Watch. You've been around the block. Watch. Watch how many times you thought it was, and it wasn't the way you thought it was. But I'm going to tell you a secret. It never, ever, ever was the way you thought it was. You projected your thoughts onto it. You said you love me. I can't believe you did that. I never would have thought you would ever do anything like that. There you go. You made that up. The person is the way they are. But you didn't ever see that. You saw the way you wanted them to be. You saw the way you thought they would be. I'm telling you, it never, ever, ever was the way you thought it was. Because you bother thinking, then you project that out there, and so on and so forth. And you keep doing that. So what is the answer? Since the problem is that you, who is very great, the self is very great. We'll get there in a minute. All right? It's undiscussable how great you are. Every one of you. Every one of you. No matter what you ever did, no matter whatever happened to you, has nothing to do with you who noticed it. The consciousness is what noticed that you did something stupid. The consciousness noticed something hurt you. The consciousness noticed that when you were little, blah, blah, blah. But you who noticed, you're the purest thing that ever walked the face of the earth. You're a very great being. And nothing can ever happen, never, ever, that takes that away from you. That's who you are. That is your nature. This is the state of your being. All right? So how does one get back there? Well, you get back there by, Hansel and Gretel. You trace the breadcrumbs back. What do you mean? What are the breadcrumbs? We just talked about why you got sucked down there. What it is that makes the mind so noisy and so important to listen to, and why the heart is the way it is. Everything pulls you out. We need to find our way back to the garden, as they say. How does one do that? By not leaving. How does one not leave? You start practicing. You start seeing, why am I getting pulled into this mess? Right? I like to go down to the simplest. I teach different than other people. I don't want you to start with these deep problems that you have. How about we work where we're capable of working? Just like when you start a sport, you don't start playing against a master at the sport. Here, you want to learn karate? Go to a black belt and fight him. No, you don't. That is not how you learn to do something. All right? You want to learn to play the piano? Go to Carnegie Hall with it completely filled, sit down and see if you can do something that will interest people. No! You start with practice. You start with this simple thing. I want you to start with that which you're capable of succeeding at. I can play the scales. I can play Twinkle Twinkle. I can get the ball back across the net the first time. It always goes in the net. Now I've learned. That's how you do it. That's how you learn something. I want you to do that with this. I want you to start with the simplest thing. What do you mean? I always use the same examples. People yell at me for using the same examples. Too bad. Do any of you, just shake your head, ever have a problem with the driver in front of you? Don't blush. All right. No reason to talk about it. They're driving in front of you. They don't use their blinker. They set their brakes on all the time. They're 10 miles above the speed limit. They rammed in their brakes. They could have driven through the light. You almost hit them. There's all kinds of things they do, and so on. All right. Is there anything you can do about that? Is there anything you do about the driver who's in front of you right now? You can talk to him, yell at him, and do a squat. Is it? That's where I want you to work. I want you to notice that there are situations in your life, quite regular, many, many, many times a day, that you can't do anything about, and they're temporary. That driver is not going to stay in front of you every day for the rest of your life. Or sometimes I notice when he does it, then they turn 3 blocks later. I stick my tongue out at Mickey. He caused all this trouble. It's the stupidest thing in the world, right? Okay, so that's what I call low-hanging fruit. It happens all the time. You don't know that. It happens all the time. Your mind and your heart bother you about things that are meaningless, just completely meaningless. Start there. Practice letting go. Practice saying, I'm here watching a mind be neurotic about the driver in front of me. And it keeps talking about it, and then it's going to go to work and tell everybody how bad that driver was. Wait till you get home and tell the family. You're making a mess of yourself. How about we start there? To me, that's equivalent to the scales on a piano. That's equivalent to the ball thrower in tennis. That's equivalent to sitting here saying, I can learn to do that. Maybe I can't learn from the divorce or this or this person who died or what the heck it is, but I can learn that. That I can certainly learn. Then do it. You practice being there when the mind and the heart are creating a minor disturbance that's unnecessary. And then you figure out, do I want to be disturbed by this? No, I don't want to be disturbed. You want to be disturbed? Which one do you want to be disturbed? We talk about what you want. Which one do you say, I want to be disturbed? That's what I want. I want things to disturb me. No, that's not what you pick. Then stop disturbing yourself about things that you don't need to be disturbed about. Why? Because then you'll learn how to handle things without getting drawn into them. And there are people that if the driver in front of them behaves what we just said, get out with a gun. It's called road rage. Now, that person didn't handle it very well, did they? I think you can do better than that, can't you? How about we do really well? We use it for our spiritual growth. I've just told you why you can't feel the Spirit, because you're busy being distracted from it, being pulled down to the thoughts and the emotions and trying to make the world be a way that makes you feel better. That's the fall from the garden, by the way. I just defined the fall from the garden. You're up here feeling, we'll talk about before we finish, I never have enough time, right? I'm up here feeling ecstasy, and you're being drawn down to a mind that's complaining and down to a heart that has problems and looking out in the world for solutions. Boom, 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 you just fell from the garden. What does the Bible say when you fall from the garden? You must now work by the sweat of your brow to be okay. Those exact words. You know anything about that? Work by the sweat of your brow to make the outside world be a way that makes you feel better. We talked about that the entire talk. Okay, how do we get back to the garden? We got to find our way back to the garden. That's Woodstock. Okay, I'm a 60s boy. Come on. All right? How do you find your way back to the garden? You stop leaving. You stop leaving. How do I stop leaving? I just told you. You start with simple things. Why bother leaving the seat of self or a state of well-being because of how the driver in front of you is driving? Why bother leaving well-being because it's hot out? Come on. It's been kind of hot lately. You're going to walk from your air-conditioned car to the air-conditioned house and complain the entire way. Can you do better than that? Can you sit there and say, I guess I don't have time to get across everything I want to. It's like, can you sit there and say, why is it hot? I did that to Mickey really in the early times. Because, he likes outer space and the stars and stuff. So I said, why is it hot? He said, because it's hot. Why is it hot? Because the sun is hot. What does that mean? There's a star out there that's 93 million miles away. How far is Miami? 360? 93 million miles away. And it is so hot that you can feel its heat 93 million miles away. You are feeling the heat of a star. Wow. And all of a sudden, when I feel it, the rest of my life, when I feel it, it reminds me of God. It reminds me of the universe. How many stars are there? 300 billion in your galaxy. And there are 2 trillion galaxies, all with hundreds of billions of stars. And you get to be circling one of them. Whew! It's kind of fun. All right? Change how you look at things. That's called positive thinking. Change the way you think. Raise yourself. There are techniques, mantras, positive thinking, witness consciousness. But work on yourself. Don't work on getting everything to compensate for the fact that you're not okay. Work on why you're not okay. So start letting go. It's called letting go. What do you mean letting go? If it talks about things that it doesn't need to talk about, don't yell at it. Be compassionate. It's a child. It needs to learn. Hey, it's okay if the driver drives that way. It'll be over soon. It's okay if it's hot. It's okay if it's raining when you have to get out of the car. It's okay. You're the one who said it wasn't okay. Let it be okay. How? Relax. That's what I've found. That you who's there watching it not be okay, relax. You can't resist when you're relaxing. Relaxation is the opposite of resistance. When you're getting a massage or yoga, they say relax into it, right? Resistance causes tension and stuff. You resist the car in front of you. You resist the heat. You resist the rain. You resist what somebody said. You resist everything. Therefore, it stays. When you resist it, you close to it, and it stays inside of you, and it will bother you for the rest of your life. Oh, you remember it was so hot when I lived in Florida? Oh, my God, I can't stand that. And so basically, if a car in front of you didn't drive well, and you were in New York visiting, and a car looked like that, your heart will skip a beat. Well, you did that. Well, you resisted the experience. Well, how do I not resist? Relax. You in there, relax. But the mind won't relax. I didn't tell the mind to relax. That's the deepest part. I did not tell the mind to relax. I told you to relax. You who noticed that the mind is not relaxing, you relax. What will happen? It will pass. Why? You were stopping it. It was hilarious that the very stuff you don't like, you hold. I can't believe you said that. I can't handle this. Look what he said. What are you doing? If you didn't like it, let it go. When you eat food that doesn't taste good, you spit it out. But if you have a thought that doesn't feel good, you keep it. You're weird people. All right. You keep it for the rest of your life. Something happens, somebody said you didn't like. You remember? Go to a high school reunion. Don't. Go to a high school reunion. And your mind will bring back every single thing that those people did that you didn't like or that you did like. As if they're the same person 30 years later. Won't it? Okay, wake up. Relax. Relax. Let go. What happens if you relax and let go? You stop being bothered so much. You're more bothered by that which you bother yourself about than you are that somebody died or this happened, that some big event. The big events don't happen every day. This happens every minute of every day. Practice letting go. Then what will happen? Something bigger will happen. And you'll find, I can handle this. That's the key. That's the highest mantra. I can handle this. If you ever say, I can't handle this, go home because you said you can't handle it. It's always, I can handle this. I can, and then you relax. I can handle this. Then you find a bigger thing happen, and a bigger thing happen. Then what's going to happen? Now we're back to the beginning of the talk. You do this enough. What does enough mean? That's none of my business. You just do it. Why? The alternative is ridiculous. No, I feel a little bit better, but I'm going to go back to bothering myself. Right? You just keep letting go, and then at some point, something's going to happen inside of you. And a bird's going to go, and your heart's going to fly open. Whoa, that never happened before. In fact, I never heard the bird. I was busy hearing my mind. Because you let go, you're more open. You're more receptive. You're not so busy with yourself. And all of a sudden, this energy will start rushing inside of you. And then more. And you keep letting go. And you start catching on, wait a minute. There's a direct relationship, inverse relationship, between how much of this energy is flowing versus how much I'm bothering myself, how much I resist. And you start catching on. That's how to get what you want. By letting go of all the garbage you built inside yourself. Because that which you want is always going on inside of you. But because you were so distracted by your garbage, you needed something outside to distract you from yourself. That's what you think your relationships are. I need someone that will distract me from myself. I don't feel unworthy of love. I've never felt unworthy of love. God, he or she makes me feel worthy. Distract you from yourself. No, how about we fix what's going on in there by letting go? Then the energy that you like feeling will happen all the time until what? We haven't even begun to talk about high. It starts flowing inside. Then what? You start catching on. The more I let go, then something bigger happens. And all of a sudden your mind becomes your friend. It can become your friend. It sits there and says, if you don't let go, you're going to lose this energy. Ooh, that's a spiritual mind, right? If you don't let go, this energy will stop flowing because you'll get involved in the distraction. And you'll start letting go. And you let go of something bigger. And something really big, not really big, but big enough, starts to happen. You have to decide. Am I willing to give up love because of what somebody said? Because this happened or that happened. Am I willing to give up love because somebody left me? Now we're playing hardball. Am I willing to give up love because I feel love, but somehow I thought it was associated with that. I don't want to give up the love. And you go through it. What do you mean go through it? It hurts. It hurts when somebody leaves you. It hurts when things happen. It hurts when people die. It hurts. Are you okay with that? Oh, now we're getting serious. Am I okay with what? I shouldn't feel pain if someone I love died? I didn't say that. Are you okay with the pain? Now you don't have to do anything about it. Doesn't mean you don't feel it. People always say that. What do I do with my humanness? You let it go. You experience it. You have compassion for yourself. You have compassion. And all of a sudden, all this stuff starts to flow through. What happens? It transmutes. I can't even tell you. All of a sudden, it becomes waves. The rush of holy waters comes flying up inside of you. When? All the time. What do you mean all the time? Every second of your existence, there's this energy rushing up inside, pulling you up. But there's a tendency to go down. There's a tendency to get involved in the hurting heart or the needing heart or the disturbing mind. Do you understand that? Now you're getting very deep. Now your work is to let go of that tendency. Not letting go of something. You're letting go of the tendency to be pulled away from that which is the most beautiful thing in the entire universe, your inner being. And at some point it gets strong enough to where the letting go becomes very different. Now you're letting go of what's pulling you down. Eventually the pull up is so strong that it's actually scary. People have trouble. It's beckoning you to die to be reborn. To quote somebody's words, it's beckoning you to let go of your sense of individuality, of your sense of self, to be pulled back into God, to be pulled back into something greater than even this great part of your being. And you learn to let go of that resistance. It's all about letting go, whether it's letting go down there or letting go up there. And the more you let go, the more it pulls you up, the more it pulls you up, until the great ones, the truly great ones. I use Meir Bava. He said when he let go completely, it was like a drop of water fell into the ocean. Find it. Can you find that drop of water ever again? It did what we call merge. Union, merger. That's what yoga, the word yoga means, union, merger. That the individual, in the Sanskrit they say the Atman fell into Paramatman. The individual self. Is it really individual? No. It's God staring at your mind. It's a ray of light staring at your mind. It never left. You never left God. I never left the chair to stare at that picture. You never left. But you're staring away from your seat. As you let go, ultimately it merges. And that's what Christ meant when he said, my Father and I are one. That's what the great masters teach. Anyways, we started there saying there's this flow of energy inside of you. And I said there's a river of joy flowing inside of you. There is. Well, why don't I feel it? Because you're looking away from it. Right? You're out there looking away into your mind, into your heart, into the world to fix everything. All right. Does everybody understand? Anybody understand? Work on that. You not only change yourself, you change everyone around you, you change the world. Because you brought something beautiful instead of all the mess happens out there. Right? And I told you, I finished. Well, if I felt that and I'm feeling that, why would I get up in the morning? Why would I do anything? Love loves to express itself. Inspiration loves to create. You're not doing it to get anything. Now you're a giver. You became a giver. Everything coming out of you, every word, every single thing you do is just serving, giving, loving. Be that and then come back and visit me. Jai Gurudev, Jai Masters.